So it seems as though this idea of straight up undermining voting rights, but also throwing a lot of confusion into and undermining trust in our election systems are two sides of the same coin, all of which have the ultimate goal of trying as hard as possible to ensure that Trump and Republicans win on November 3rd. Would you agree?
Yes, I think the real goal of all of this, all these shenanigans that they're engaged in, they just seem to probably they have a huddle every morning at breakfast where they say, well, what bomb can we throw into the system just to distract people now? But the real intent, I think, is to just create a distrust in the outcome of the election. They're trying to set up a situation in which no matter what happens, that it is going to be considered illegitimate if Trump is not elected. That anything less than that means a fraudulent election. And as we saw in 2016, they'll even say that even if he wins, they will say it was still a rigged election because he would have won bigger. Is Lily Tomlin put it like this. She said, no matter how cynical you get, it's almost impossible to keep up. These people are working overtime. Uh, Again, Sonali, they've gone beyond election suppression to outright election sabotage. That's what we're engaged in.
In your piece in the Hightower Lowdown, you say in more and more races, the GOP doesn't have broad enough appeal to fairly produce an election majority, so it has resorted to rigging the system so a minority prevails. And of course, add to that, we have the pandemic, which one would have thought would have worked against Trump. But because now more and more people are hoping to vote by mail, all Trump has to do is ensure that the voting by mail becomes a confusing mess. And it seems as though he's succeeding in doing that.
Well, he is by, again, sabotage is the word, sabotaging the U.S. Postal Service. The most effective, the most popular, the most efficient public agency in our country. An agency that more than 90% of the American public feels good about, including the vast majority of Republicans who count on that service to deliver the goods. And they can count on it because it has historically delivered the goods under the most extreme of circumstances. We have always voted in this country. Despite wars, despite depressions, despite previous pandemics, we have voted. Yet this is a deliberate attempt not to vote, to keep targeted